The Plainest Jane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
I'm your girl, the Plainest Jane, and let's see what's happening in these virtual streets. You ready? All right now. This could be a crazy ride. I'm warning you now. What up and welcome back. I'm Jane, the Plainest Jane, and I provide serve in the form of black news and celebrity entertainment. Get on the bus. Shout out to the night shift. Shout out to the people who stay up late at night. I would call y'all night owls, but I'm not, deaf or ignorant to the fact that Nick at Night is an amazing content creator on this platform as well. She calls her audience specifically the night owls, just like I call my audience stickies and or the pancake posse. But if you're working a night shift or you're just up late at night, shout out to you for being here and spending some time with your girl. And definitely if you're on the replay, which means you're chasing the bus and you didn't catch us here live, shout out to you too. And thank you for showing love to the video, hitting thumbs up, subscribing, and all of that other good stuff. I did have a couple of people join the membership before the bus pulled off. I want to say shout outs and thank you to those individuals. And shout out to my new subscribers. I gained about 230-ish subscribers from the video that I did the other night covering the update today that I'll give you is touching on Flame Monroe, but we had the whole real woman versus trans woman debate literally through social media into a tizzy. And I had to stand up for women. I had to stand up for natural biological women, and I gained quite a few subscribers. So if you're one of those people who are new to me or decided that you wanted to subscribe, I appreciate you so much. And there is an update on that whole debacle that we will be getting into today. Now, I do want to understand, and let me just shout out in particular, Yo Folk 3 for joining the membership. Thank you so much. All right. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Okay. So y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. And we're going to get into some topics today. So have a seat on the bus, roll up what you need to roll, pour what you need to pour. But we're going to have a good old sticky time on this bus today. Of course, we're covering the update on the biological woman versus trans woman conversation. Flame Monroe has weighed in on the topic, and a lot of people don't like, a lot of people who are part of the trans community really don't like it. We got an update on Tupac, word to my shirt, okay? An update on the Tupac investigation 27 years later. I have plenty of thoughts on why they're all of a sudden probing around this and reopening this. Also, we got some news about Obama. There's lots of conspiracies. One of his employees has passed away. I do want to get into Carlee Russell. I know I haven't spoken about Carlee Russell, but if you're in the Discord, you know we've all had a lot of thoughts about Carlee Russell. I haven't spoken about it publicly, but we've definitely been in the Discord chit-chatting it up. Kanye West back in the news. Jamie Foxx. I have some thoughts on that as well. And there's a lot of real world news that we need to touch on. And this is what the Black News Bus is about. So I hope y'all are having an amazing evening. Okay. Or morning, should I say. It's 1:12 in the morning over here in Baltimore. So, like I said, comment down below where you are watching from. Y'all know I'm in Baltimore. I see there's some DC folks in the house. All right. Hit thumbs up. Have a seat on the bus. Shout out to everybody in the live chat right now. Like I said, I know it's late as hell, but we still need to get into this, okay? I'm fresh back. I was gone for a little over a month. So before I can get a schedule down pat, let's just get some consistency in first, and then we can get some schedules and some segments in so that y'all know more of when exactly to predict me, although I do love keeping y'all on y'all toes. So listen, let's get ready for takeoff. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And look, Let's go. Okay.
thePLAINESTjane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
And so look, if you're new over here and you don't know what my channel is about, anytime you are over here on my channel, please understand that you're on the bus. Okay. So this is the Black News Bus in particular. And what the Black News Bus is it is a social media stroll that covers Black topics inside of the celebrity world, but it also covers real world Black news involving everyday people like you and me. And, you know, I always got some nuggets of Black excellence and or Black history. So real quick, I hope y'all are feeling all right. Shout out to your mental health and your invisible issues. If you haven't already taken care of those things, click off of this video. You won't catch a lot of genuine content creators telling you to click off of that video if you ain't prioritized your own life, but I'm that one because it's really important. And part of the reason why I was gone for a little over a month is because I had to focus on my real life, my invisible issues and stuff that I don't even share with you all. So just know I do take my own advice. And when I need to step away from YouTube, I know y'all might miss me. Y'all flood my DMs, y'all flood my emails, y'all flood my Instagram comments. But I do take time for myself when I feel fit. Despite how sometimes I do overwork on YouTube. So mental health is really important over here to me. Again, shout out to the new subscribers. I just want to say thank y'all. And of course, before I get into breaking down today's topics and viral events, make sure you subscribe to the channel, number one, okay? Thumbs up or down. Either way, I really do appreciate the engagement, regardless of how you feel, okay? Tap dance or whatever button you want to. But also remember to think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else, all right? So let's go ahead and get started with the bus. We want to go ahead and get right into it. And you know what I'm going to start with today? Usually I save the Black history and or Black excellence bit on this day in Black history, whichever one I choose to do within that segment. I usually save it for the end, but everybody doesn't make it to the end of these videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prioritize the Black history today, and I'm going to put that first. And then we're going to get into everything else that's going on with the celebrities in the real world and the funny stuff and the craziness. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into our Black history moment and or fact for today, and then we'll keep it pushing. Now let's spend a little bit of time with our ancestors, or at least listening to them, because you know they always tell us you don't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. So let's get into a little bit of Black history with this Black history moment. You in that crowd. They got me in the system. Why they gotta do me like that? And I know I can be what I wanna be what I wanna be. We've got love for y'all, we sure don't love us. Just about the feeling. Get down. All right, now let's get into it. I absolutely love that trailer that I made myself, okay? I love the music and the lineup in that Black history bumper. However, today we need to talk about Emmett Till. Emmett Till would have been 82 years old today. And today is a day that we need to recognize him. Today is a day that also President Biden, and if you follow me on Twitter, then you already know, you've already seen some of this and the awareness I was spreading about this earlier this morning when it came to my attention when I was researching what I wanted to talk about for the Black history moment today. So today, President Biden signed a proclamation being May 25th, designating locations associated with Emmett Till as a national monument on what would have been his 82nd birthday, recognizing the impact of his killing on the civil rights movement. Now, I have mixed feelings about this, but let's get through the facts. Let me know how you feel about it as I kind of unpack this, and I'll tell you how I feel about it at the end, okay? And so Grayball Landing in Mississippi, the Tallahatchie River location where the brutally beaten body of a 14-year-old Emmett Till was dumped and discovered in 1955. This will be one of 3 sites designated as a national monument in Emmett Till's honor. So the White House is designating the river site in the Tallahatchie County 2nd District Courthouse in Chicago's Roberts Temple Church of God in Christ as part of a national monument, recognizing both the history of his mom, who is also being honored with the monument, and also is touching on racial violence and the need for legal justice in cases like Emmett Till's and others that are similar or nearly identical. And so a year ago, the original, and a lot of us remember this last year when this thing heated up. And so let me just get some colored images on the screen. There have been some people who have done some work and have been able to get us some like colored images of Emmett Till and his mom as well. And we know that last year, the original arrest warrant for Carolyn Bryant was found in the basement of a Mississippi courthouse. Now, Emmett Till's relatives, obviously, they wanted authorities to arrest her. Hello, it came out that she lied. She admitted this on her deathbed. They found the arrest warrant, but of course, because she has the complexion for protection, nothing ever happened. Nothing ever came of that. And so in April of this year, she passed away. Her name was Carolyn. Might as well have been Karen, right? Her name was Carolyn Bryant Donham, and she died at 89 years old. It's really unfortunate that she outlived Emmett Till. It should have never been that way. It really sucks. But I do want to allow you all to listen to a few words from Emmett Till's family from the ceremony and or press conference, you could call it, that they had today. So let me get that on the screen. Make sure you like the video if you haven't already. Let me get this pulled up. And thank you all so much for supporting this video. Let me read the caption and then we'll listen to what was said. Emmett Till's cousin, Reverend Wheeler Parker Jr. says, quote, "It's been quite a journey for me from darkness to the light. When I sat with my family on the night of terror, when Emmett was taken from us, taken to be tortured and brutally murdered, back then I could never imagine a moment like this." So let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say. I want to know your thoughts about this, because one thing that I do, it's a common talking point among the Black community, right? The congregation. We are tired of trinkets. We are tired of monuments, because you do this to keep us at bay and to lessen outrage. And what we need is less of you killing us so that you don't have to make these monuments. Like, at the end of the day, are y'all going to give us reparations or not? I have my own personal thought about reparations, but these statues, whether it be George Floyd or Alton Sterling or whatever it is, we're tired of statues. We're tired of monuments. How about you stop the root of the issue so that you have to, you don't have to make these monuments over and over again. So in one breath, I'm kind of tired of the trinkets, but when it comes to Emmett Till and what's happening and the African-American history that's being snatched out of schools, specifically starting in Florida and spreading to other areas of the country, the revisionist history is amping up, and it's snowballing at a rate that we won't be able to control. And I have mixed thoughts about that too. So it's definitely not a black or white conversation. It's definitely multifaceted. However, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you feel like we should get this Emmett Till monument, statue? Do you feel like he should have these things, or should we stop accepting these things and ask for something else? Or should we be able to determine who we do accept a statue or a monument for and who we shouldn't accept a monument for? Really, 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 really murky waters. And I know that that's a very layered question, but I'm still interested in hearing what you all have to say. So let's go ahead and listen to his cousin, and I will watch your comment.
I'm truly humbled by this honor. You see, I was born in Mississippi. I spent my early years as a sharecropper and was focused upon filling up a 9-foot sack. Focused upon my quota, not making history, from the outhouse to the White House. From a time when we lived in fear to a time when President and Vice President gave us this great hope. To time kept their promise by delivering. This is what America means to me. Promises made, promises kept. It has been quite a journey for me from the darkness to the light. When I sat with my family on the night of terror, when Emmett Till, our beloved Bobo, was taken from us, taken to be tortured, brutally murdered. Back then, when I was overwhelmed with terror and fear of certain death in the darkness of 1,000 midnights, in a pitch black house on what some have called Dark Fear Road. Back then in the darkness, I could never imagine a moment like this, standing in the light of wisdom, grace, and deliverance. There's something amazing you feel when you meet President Biden, like I did when he signed the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill into law. He welcomed me to this place of great power. I felt the power of his personal devotion, his devotion to justice, to equality, his commitment to keeping the promise of America. This came from his heart, from his soul. God bless you, President Biden, for all you have done and will do to preserve our history. I'm truly...
Okay, so, oh my God, Jane's Weeping Bush is back. Child, I thought Jane's Weeping Bush had deleted their account since I had disappeared for so long. Imagine saying all this next to Jim Crow Joe. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. My thoughts are so mixed on this because I feel like stop giving us statues and monuments and stop the behavior that leads to us needing a statue or a monument. Hello? Stop this behavior. These monuments be costing millions of dollars, literally. And however, I do feel like with the revisionist history that's taking place, specifically in the schools, I feel like Emmett Till deserves it. I feel like we should accept it. I feel like we shouldn't say, no, we don't want this. No, take it back. First of all, I don't even think it's our say. I think his family like supersedes what we all are thinking pertaining to this, right? However, I do feel like this is one that we should definitely allow. This happened in 1955. We didn't even have color televisions at the time, I do not believe. And I feel like this is one we should accept, but we shouldn't be accepting all of them and all the time. This revisionist history is kind of weird. However, I don't really... It's audacious what they're trying to put in place of what actually happened. But at the same time, can we really expect our oppressor to tell us exactly how they oppressed us without making themselves look guilty? When you go to court for something that you may be guilty for, you're going to play semantics and you're going to avoid implicating yourself. So we can't expect the oppressor, who is still actively trying to oppress us in so many different ways, right, to come forward and be in schools and say, yeah, we made y'all I mean, yeah, it was a thing when we were in school, but now they're changing it and they're revising it. I say all this to say Black history should definitely be taught at home. You cannot trust white people to teach you about the wrong that white people, that their own and their grandparents have done, especially if they share the sentiment, right? So with revisionist history on the rise, skyrocketing, right? So I don't have a problem with Black history being taught at home. Because I mean, even back when I was in school, there was some things that I came home with and my mother was like, no, that's not right. Let's go to the Blacks and Wax Museum, right? So there's a lot of revisionist history happening. And I do think that creating these monuments and memories of Emmett Till, especially with him being so young, people don't necessarily have as much empathy for grown folks and adults as they have for kids, right? A lot of people's soft spot is children, right? So despite the George Floyds and the Alton Sterlings and the I mean, there's the Sandra Bland's, and you know, there's so many innocent Black people who died at the hands of police officers who really should not have, right? At the hands of police brutality, racism, an intersection of both of them, whatever the case is. People have a soft spot for children, and I feel like the more we talk about Emmett Till, it could definitely keep this story and keep his legacy alive and true. Part of what they're trying to put in the Florida schools is is that when we were slaves, or our ancestors were slaves, we obtained a certain set of skills that were beneficial to our life. As if it was an internship, as if it was something that was voluntary, right? Did we learn how to survive? Did we learn how to fight? And yeah, but that's not anything that we had a choice of the matter in. And so to say, you know, we're teaching in Florida schools that the slaves, they actually got a valuable skill set that they were actually able to use and build upon. It was valuable for them and it benefited them later on in their life is bizarre. And then for you to say, well, there was violence on both sides. We were trying to hold them captive and they was fighting back. So there's the violence from them. The violence is, who the hell wants to be held captive and beat and whipped and buck broken in front of their families as men? You expected us to just be docile and take that? And then you're calling our reaction to y'all's oppression and bondage, you're calling that violence on quote unquote both ends? Y'all are out of y'all cotton picking minds, literally, right? So this is the reason why I'm kind of torn about this, because when I saw that they were giving us a George Floyd monument, I'm like, we don't need this. We need y'all to stop the behavior. You know, when we got the MLK monument with the Coretta Scott King thing, and y'all remember what that looked like, caught a lot of flack because it kind of looked like I think this was February. It looked like a penis. So it's just like, you know what? Y'all not going to do us right. Sometimes these monuments don't be right. It's just something to appease us or keep us at bay and to get us to have a conversation. No, we're tired of the trinkets. However, we have to decide which ones we should take, or should we just stand against. So here's my question to you, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments or in the chat if you're here right now. As it pertains to the Emmett Till monument, are you for it or against it? Put a 1 in the chat if you're for it and you feel like it'll be worth it because it'll continue the dialogue and keep the dialogue alive. Put a 2 in the chat if you are against the Emmett Till monument. I'm curious because I'm torn. I feel like we need it, but then I kind of feel bad for being like, I decided a while ago we don't need any more trinkets. So why am I caving on this one? You know, so I'm still honestly, I'm in the middle of it myself, to be completely honest with you. And I typically don't stand in the middle of things. I typically pick a goddamn side. I typically pick a side, but I feel like this could keep a very important dialogue alive and an ugly truth, because I know that's not what you're about to do. There's no other way we can keep. Emmett Till's story is so cut and dry. There's no way to say that he was volatile or he was hostile towards Carolyn or whatever her name was. So it's just one of those easy cut and dry, like, look at what y'all did to this person because you could, and lynching was legal at that time. If a white man decided you're guilty, I don't need no evidence, I want to deem you guilty, I'm going to lynch you. Everybody going to stand around and watch and pop popcorn, and that's just going to be what it was. And lynching isn't always with the noose, right? Keep in mind. It's any type of brutal public killing and humiliation of a person of color at the hands of a white person. Well, for Black people, that's what it is. So let me know. Let me know if you're for it or against it. Put a 1 if you're for the monument, and put a 2 if you are not for the monument. I think this might be an interesting conversation to maybe have in a separate live, maybe tomorrow or something. I do want to talk more about that, but we have other stuff that we need to get to. Okay. There are 174 of us here. It is 1:33 in the morning. Let's keep this show going. It's been going great so far. Okay. So what is going on? I see somebody say Bonnie B. I know Bonnie B not in my chat. If Bonnie B was in my chat, I would like fangirl right now. Who said, hey, Bonnie B in the chat? She can't possibly be in the chat. So let's keep it pushing with the show. What did y'all have for dinner? I had almost nothing. I had almost nothing for dinner. Okay. And let's go ahead. I see a lot of twos. I don't see too many ones. I see a few ones, but I see more twos than anything. So yeah, like I said, I'm pretty torn about it. Nonetheless, the next topic that we're going to get into is Flame Monroe. So Flame Monroe, everybody has to be aware at this point that there's this debacle, there is this debate between natural women, real women, and trans women, right? And Flame Monroe is a part of the trans community. Now, Flame Monroe has done several videos and been very upfront about where they stand, right? Flame Monroe is a part of the trans community. They got the boobs done. Flame got the boobs done. And I'm really unsure of Flame's pronouns. So I'm just going to say they, or I'm just going to use the word, use Flame's name. But they got these big boobs. They decided to keep their eggplant, but they go through the world with wigs and breasts and makeup as a woman. Comedian, seen him on The Breakfast Club, and I found it to be I felt like I knew Flame was going to side with us natural women, because Flame always just has this sense of common sense. You know, T.S. Madison is basically insinuating that Jess Hilarious is upset because she's been misclassified as a trans woman a time or two. And so that was T.S. Madison's excuse to say transphobia affects all women, not just trans women. Some of y'all get mistaken as trans women. So transphobia is all of y'all issue. No, it's not. And you're not going to trick me and not my batch of natural women that are confused or follow me or really just don't understand how to navigate this conversation or know what's going on. You're not about to trick me and my homegirls down at Bella Noche's into advocating for transphobia when y'all don't advocate for the things that infringe upon us and make us uncomfortable. So transphobia does not affect all women, and it damn sure doesn't affect women outside of the trans community, right? Stop moving the goalposts. Stop changing y'all definitions of what the hell these words are, because everybody's tired of it. And so at some point we have to respect the trans community's pronouns, or anybody in the LGBT's community, anybody under the flag, under that umbrella. You might have a penis and balls, but if you want to be called she, her, I've got to respect that, right? And so this is kind of like what the deal is. It's, oh, you women can't gatekeep periods because real women ain't the only women who have periods. Okay, I get it. Trans men have periods. If you were assigned female at birth, but you have he, him pronouns, and now you want to transition, you've transitioned into masculine pronoun, but you were born with a uterus and ovaries, you still bleed. So are periods exclusive to... Periods are exclusive to people who are assigned female at birth. Period, point blank. I'm not about to sit here and play semantics with y'all. Y'all don't like hearing us say periods are only for women because some of y'all classify as men and then some of y'all classify as women or trans men and trans women. And y'all want us to do all this extra work and all this extra mental gymnastics. And it's not happening. Like, we're tired. We're tired of y'all getting spicy with us while y'all cosplay us at the same time. How the hell were you assigned male at birth and you still got your meat down there? And I don't care if you got your meat cut off next week or if you get it cut off next week or you were getting it cut off last week. How were you assigned male at birth? You were born with testes and a penis, right? an XX chromosome, trying to tell an XY chromosome how to be an XY chromosome. I was assigned female at birth, and I'm still going through the world as she, her. You're not about to tell me what I was born as and how I should go through the world and how I should speak and how I should act and what I should accept and what I own and what I don't. Because at the end of the day, you're never going to be what I am. You cosplay as me, but you'll never be this. So let's get into exactly what Flame Monroe had to say, because Flame Monroe quite frequently does speak up for the biological woman, for the women who were for the women who are still women, who were assigned woman at birth or assigned female at birth. Flame often speaks up for us, which leaves Flame's own community seething. Like, how dare you disagree with us? You might be able to bully everybody else, but how you gonna bully a woman while you trying to be a woman and tell a woman how she needs to accept you infringing upon her rights, her bathroom, her sports, her comfortability? If we could, I guarantee you, every woman right now would give you $500 if you would just take her period away and deal with it for the rest of her life. We don't want to bleed every month. We don't want them cramps. We don't want the PMSing. We don't want we don't want none of it. But y'all are all the way down to biological women not even being casted for feminine product campaigns anymore. You mean Always Pads is literally bringing dick holders aboard to advertise for feminine products that were made for bleeders, but this is a person with a dick who will literally never fucking bleed. And you're taking an opportunity from women. You literally just had a Miss USA pageant, and a trans woman won it. A person who was assigned male at birth won the Miss Universe pageant because of their pronoun and their preference. But we can't even not be called cis when we don't want to be called cis. And we getting all this pushback. Why y'all don't want to be called cis? What it means is y'all was born. I know what it means. But you know what? The same way the cis term came around 30 years ago, around about 1992, 3-ish. And we might feel like that's an outdated definition. You know why? Because y'all feel like the definition of a woman is outdated. You feel like you can be born with balls and a dick and call yourself a woman. That defies science in itself. But I'm not arguing with you about that. If you got that dick and that balls, and even if you cut it off, still don't make you one of us. You still ain't got a uterus. You still ain't got ovaries. You still ain't got none of that. If you want to be called she, her, then I'm going to call you that. And I'm not about to ask no questions about it, because at the end of the day, it's about your comfortability. It's about your preference. It's about what you identify as. A lot of us natural born women do not identify as cis shit. And we don't like it. So stop questioning us and stop trying to police us on this. The misogyny comes in so many different forms. It's out of this world. The XYers telling XXs how to be XXs while they cosplay as XX chromosomes is bizarre to me. Make it make sense. Am I lying or am I dying? Which one am I doing? Them chromosomes was beating my ass the other night, but I got it right today. Okay, I got it right today. I'm going to show you this one example, and then we're going to go right into Flame Monroe. Oh, damn, it took D.L. Hughley long enough to get into the conversation. It's about time, brother. Sheesh Louise. Let me go to one of my people that I actually do. I fucks with them, but what they saying and what they got going on, just it's not making no sense, babes. It's not making no sense. So take a look at this, right? This is Funky Daniva's page. Funky Daniva is a YouTube, is an individual that is on Fox Soul. They do identify as, I want to say gay, but also Funky Daniva has actually shared how he's been with women too. So I guess you could say bi, or you know, I don't know, it could be non-binary, pansexual, baby. I don't know, child. But they part of the community, right? So they post this and it says cisgender equals biological. The term cisgender or cis is not a negative or demeaning word. Simply put, people should not be offended when the word is used to reference their identity. If you're a biological man or woman, then the term cis affirms that claim. Next topic, please. Now, before I get to the caption, let's talk about the language. Let's talk about the language in this post in general. The term cisgender or cis is not a negative or demeaning word, they say, right? If you have a dick and balls, me calling you a man is, who am I to say that should not be demeaning to you? Hell, a Spanish person could walk up to me right now and say, hey, la negra. But because that's their language and their word, and they may not mean any harm because the actual definition, how I take it is how I take it, right? And so whether you want to dig into my psyche or not, if I tell you that something is disrespectful, you're not always going to be, hell, a 70-year-old white man could walk up to a 6-year-old boy on the street right now and say, hey, boy, go on, get out of here. That boy has a certain connotation. It has certain undertones, and it's really subjective and based on how you receive it, right? And so respecting what somebody does or does not want to be called. What's so wrong with me calling you a man if you are technically a man? Scientifically, the definition of a man is what? Dick and balls, prostate, right? But I'm not arguing with you about that. You have a preference to be called something other than what science says, right? So you trying to use science, right? You trying to say science is the excuse. People should not be offended. Stop that. And again, it's the XYs telling the XXs how to feel about the XYs trying to be XX chromosomes. It doesn't make any sense. If you're a biological man or woman, then the term cis affirms that claim. Next topic. Now let's get into how sassy and ridiculous and problematic and just arguing for the sake of not having anything else to talk about and refusing to see logic and being intentionally obtuse. Let's get into this part of the caption because I'm sorry. I with Funky. Funky has a lot of strong opinions, but I don't agree with everything he says. Just like you might not agree with everything I say, right? I'm not posting this for argument. I'm simply posting it for clarification. And the term existed in medical and science communities long before the trans conversation became mainstream. And so did the term man and woman. And it was based solely on dicks and vaginas. Was it not? Ovaries and uteruses, with the exception of people who are intersex, who are literally born with both. But those are rare and extreme occasions. So let's just keep it simple and keep the goalpost exactly where it is. I'm not telling any woman how to feel. I don't care. Nor do I mind being referred to as a cisgender male. And that's you. This reminds me of exactly what Armand Wiggins said the other day. He's like, how come there are no cis men that have an issue with being called cisgendered? You know why? Because first of all, y'all know y'all are a great amount of y'all see what's going on. But see, a lot of y'all defy logic and y'all defend y'all community to a fault without even taking into account of how it's negatively affecting other people. And so I see this a lot of times with Funky Dineva, even Al Reynolds sometimes when I'm watching TGIF, they sit and even Armand Wiggins. I'm sorry, like y'all sit and y'all defend y'all community against shit because y'all care more about solidarity than actually being right, than actually being ethical. And then when somebody actually calls y'all to the carpet or is critical in a way that's not disrespectful, y'all bite our head off. I'll tell you exactly why cisgender men are not complaining about being called cis, whereas women are. Men write this conversation off because en masse, in general, their rights are not being infringed upon the way ours are. Do you see women going and dominating male sports based on their pronouns and their preferences and shit like that? They bathrooms, whatever. Women can't overpower men in their bathrooms or their sports or for pretty much anything else in general. It's just the patriarchy and what it is and how it's set up. So men drown this conversation out because they don't care. They're not being negatively affected by it. We are. So this is the reason why you see men drowning this shit out, and they don't give a fuck what you call them. They don't even know what a cis is, and they don't care. However, right? When it comes to us, we don't want to be called cis. And y'all are being real nasty and acting like y'all haven't taken this term, turned it around, and weaponized it. And weaponize. The more we say we don't want to be called this, the more y'all used to call us this, you know, let's just say y'all called us cis twice a day. Now that we say we don't want to be called that, now y'all calling us that 8 and 9 and 10 times a day because we don't want to be called that. We don't argue with what you do or don't want to be called, despite the fact that we know you still got that dick and balls in your pants, but I'll call you she, her. Hell, I'll call you they, them. What you don't want is for me to call you him, but you got a dick and balls, and science says that you're a man and you should be called that. But I'm not pulling up the dictionary to go back and forth with you about that, right? So, all in all, the misogyny, the calls for misogyny are literally coming from inside the house, outside the house. It's coming from your beeper if you still got a beeper. It's coming from your two-way. It's coming through your email. Baby, we're not going to be able to escape the misogyny. I don't care if you're wearing a wig and you got a beard and you got a dick and you got some the misogyny is coming from everywhere. And it's pathetic that y'all can't see that we have a simple preference, but we're supposed to accept y'all preferences, no questions asked. What do you care if it's a dick in your bathroom? What do you mean, what if I care? It opens the door to predatory behavior. And where do we draw the line to make sure we can prevent predators from using this blurry line in this blurry space, a guy from just slapping on a wig tomorrow and saying, I identify as a female, so I'm going in this woman's bathroom. You heard me? You got it? It could be 14-year-olds in there, 15-year-olds in there, 80-year-olds in there. Anybody can be overpowered by a person with a penis if you don't have one. And this is why transphobia affects all women. T.S. Madison trying to play this lackluster reverse psychology. Baby, I'm not going for it. You won't get me to stand up and advocate for transphobia when y'all don't advocate for anything that's supposed to make us comfortable or alleviate the discomfort that y'all's community is forcing upon us. It's not happening. It's not happening. And so here they are, Funky Dineva, Armand Wiggins, Truth be told, cis is affirming your biological woman status. Truth be told, me calling you a man, if you got dick and balls, you won't like it. But science says you a man, right? But I'm not arguing with you about that. But the fact that I have to keep bringing up this point, y'all can't gatekeep periods. Y'all are mad because we said we're the only ones who can have periods. We can't pop up with prostate cancer tomorrow. Even if I decide to transition into a man and be called a trans man tomorrow, I'll never be able to have prostate cancer. Ever. Because I wasn't born that way, was I? The same way you weren't born like I'm born. Nonetheless, let's get through this. Truth be told, cis is affirming your biological woman status. If you truly wanted to read the trans community, the correct read would actually sting. It would be, you could never be a cisgender woman, even in your wildest dreams, truth be told. So he's trying to tell us how to read his own community, but really it's just a ploy to get us to accept the fact that essentially what Funky Dineva is saying right here is y'all are stupid for not wanting to be called cis, because y'all could read us with we could read you with any term. To be honest, y'all are cosplaying us at the end of the day while telling us that we're cosplaying you. The same way Saucy Santana told us, y'all learn how to be feminine from us gay men. I know you did not rip femininity from us and try and sell it back to us too. Where did you learn how to switch and sashay and Vogue and all this other shit? Your argument is not with the trans community, Funky Dineva says, or with the government officials. Your argument is with the biologists and scientific community. There are ones who come up with the term. They are the ones that come up with the term many moons ago. Okay, so there's a typo there. However, there was also somebody that came up with the term man, woman, and male and female many moons ago. And y'all have warped it. Y'all have switched it. Y'all have refused to adhere by it. You know what I mean? Like Flame Monroe literally still got his dick, he still got his balls, he went and got titties, and he want to be. Y'all have completely flipped it. We ain't trying to flip anything. We're just rejecting a term. We're not trying to transform into any other species or any other being or be called anything else. We just are rejecting the term. Stop calling us cis. Period. Hello? I don't. What's so difficult about it? What's so difficult about it? Y'all go through all this mental gymnastics and typing up all of these paragraphs to tell us that we should accept and have y'all shove cis down our throat when that's not what we want. We don't shove pronouns down your throat that you don't want. Y'all are a whole protected class. We ain't. Y'all have a certain luxury that we don't have. And y'all misogyny and y'all sexism and y'all's desire to continuously humble Black women and make them submissive to whatever you think, and to think that you can say whatever nasty thing out of your mouth to us, and we don't have the right to fight or refute anything it is that y'all saying, it's disgusting. And the fact that y'all can't see the blatant hypocrisy in us refuting a singular term. It ain't a whole bunch that we, you know what I'm saying? Just don't call us cis. Y'all can't even handle that. And y'all know y'all being nice nasty because a lot of y'all have weaponized it. I sit in these Twitter spaces. I sit on Clubhouse. I sit and I listen to these conversations. And I'm like, I'm listening to all these women say, don't call us cis. Why don't y'all want to be called? Why don't you want to be called what you were assigned as? You were assigned what at birth? Why don't you want to be called that? I'm not going into all that with you because it takes too much work. Y'all are nasty. And this nice, nasty move of trying to bully women and bulldoze over women while trying to be women at the same time, y'all are insane. And I know y'all might not agree with Jess Hilarious's her delivery and her figures of speech and calling y'all mentally ill and saying that some of y'all are deranged and saying that some of y'all need straitjackets. But baby, go back and listen to the message again. Because sometimes you need an effed up delivery in order to bring something to you. Sometimes you need an effed up delivery. I might not like everything that my mother said or did to me when I was growing up, but sometimes it was her nasty delivery that got the point across. And it's difficult to stay calm and treat somebody and speak in a way that is diplomatic when somebody is being nasty, eternally nasty to you. People talking to you nasty delivery, demeaning terms. Yet when you give 10% of that energy back, all of a sudden they can't handle it. I be damned. Y'all call us disrespectful shit all the time, but let somebody misgender you. Even by mistake, not even intentionally. Y'all ready to snatch y'all wig off and snatch them eyelashes off and turn into Paul and say, fuck the rule and beat a bitch up. And we can't even request that y'all not call us cis. I digress. However, let's get into what Flame had to say. Child, this is too much. I'm glad this topic came along because it woke me up and I'm like, okay, I got to go live again. But it's really out of control. Nonetheless, Flame Monroe has infuriated her own T section of the LGBT community because they feel like you need to be standing in solidarity with us. At the end of the day, sometimes a certain sector of the LGBT community, they can be bullies and they feel like you don't have the right to disagree with them, whether you're a part of their community or not. If you're not a part of their community, they're going to call you phobic. They're going to call you transphobic. They're going to call you any type of phobic in the book. And then if you are part of their community, they can be like, oh, you're not on code. How dare you disagree with us? Everybody's not going to agree with you. And they're a gang. And now they're coming after Flame Monroe. And I'm like, shit. It's a little bizarre. It's a lot bizarre, actually. Flame says, yes, women own periods as well as womanhood is not transphobia, but it sounds very phobia.
Good morning. I'm just knocking shit over. Good morning, IG. Welcome to Coffee Time.
Come on, Flame now. Come on now.
Good morning.
Get to the point. What is?
Hello.
Child.
I had to come over here. If you're just joining me, welcome to Coffee Time. If you're coming over from IG, from YouTube, yeah, let's continue our conversation. We are having a conversation about a young lady. I'm being respectful right now. What's up, Gina? Yeah, I didn't go, Gina. They didn't have my money. No money, no flame. Look, this is what we're talking about.
Transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep. Like, hello. Who the
Man. Oh, Gina, okay. Let me talk about this, y'all. I don't know the trans woman's name, but she says that women, biological women, because I don't use the term cisgender. I don't use that dumb shit. Biological women don't own periods and don't own womanhood. Well, please, who owns it if biological women don't? I am so sick of some of these young trans ridiculous bitches hollering, woman, here is what the mockery that you are showing the world for some of you young delusional bitches that think that you're a woman and you discarding women. It looks like on the outside looking in, and from the people I talk to, that the thing that you want to become the most seems to be the thing that you hate. You want to become a woman, but you hate women. You're trying to build yourself up as a woman by discarding biological women. You wouldn't even be here if a biological woman wouldn't have gave up no pussy and let a nigga bust in her to get you here. And you are ungrateful for that? Let me tell you something. I'm not worried about what y'all. Let me remind my trans sisters of this. That's old, young, new, future, past, and present. You can't outgirl a girl when you was born as a boy. One more time for the people in the back. You can't outgirl a girl when you was born a boy. You can't. It's just the natural order of things. You can be as feminine, as pretty, as soft, as beautiful, but that nigga DNA is still that nigga's DNA. Good God, you don't have sex changes. You cut your penis off or you close down your vagina because DNA don't change. You cannot change DNA. You can't beat God. I know some of us think we can. You can't beat God. These doctors can come up with every technology they want to. You are still biologically a man. That's no read, because you live in a country where you can identify and be and whoever you want to be freely in this country. You can't do that in Iran. You can't do that in Dubai, but you can do that in America. But you discredit women because you want to say, oh, if I get rid of women, I'm going to be the only woman. You won't be the only woman. You will never be the only woman. And men who adore women and love biological women, and that's not to say that they don't care for everybody else, I ain't gonna never accept you for what you want. This is not gonna happen. That's the truth. That ain't no read. The truth needs to be taught to the youth, because you older bitches ain't gonna learn. You already got your mind made up. And stupidity is stupidity. And here's my issue. I ain't never heard none of my trans sisters, even the ones I know who had their SRS. SRS, for those who I don't know, is the sexual reassignment surgery. Even the ones who have had it, I ain't never heard one of my trans sisters say, oh, I want to have a period. That was never a desire. So why would this nigga come out here talking about women don't own periods and womanhood? See, the NWT brigade, that's niggas with titties. I'm one of them, but I'm not one of them. I'm just a nigga with titties. The NWT brigade has lost their goddamn mind, has lost their minds. You will never discard a woman. You will never disgrace a woman. You will never replace a woman. You won't. You just won't. If that is what your end game is, the end game will turn on you and they will burn us down long before they're going to get rid of a woman who can bring in another life, who can bring in a baby, who can procreate and keep the world going. Because you can't get pregnant in a booty hole. I done tried it both ways. You can't. Just in case you didn't know.
Wait a minute. Jesus.
And my issue right now is where's all these big name activists, all you angry bitches that always got something to say that, oh, I love women. But you know, one minute they love women, then the next podcast they do women in competition with them or women jealous of them and they ain't got no problem with women. Woo-woo. And then the next podcast, oh, women can't take us. The black bitches can't take us. And woo. Okay, where y'all at now? Because y'all should be speaking out against stuff like this. This is doing a lot of detriment to the community. People speaking like that women don't own periods or women don't own womanhood. Because who owns it if women don't own it? Men don't own it. Trans women damn sure don't own it because trans women learn how to be a woman by watching a woman. Oh, did I just hit a, did I step on a toe? Let me say that again. Trans women learn how to be a woman by watching a woman. Oh, y'all forgot? Oh, let me remind you. Your mama, your grandmama, whoever raised you, your aunties, your sisters, and here's the killer. Most young gay boys, before they decide to become trans or whatever they decide to become, most young gay boys' best friend was a biological female, a little young girl. Y'all, 10, 11 years old. My little girlfriend, Tracy, said, oh, Marcus, I like David. I said, oh, Tracy, I got a secret. She said, what? I like David too. So that's the first person you come out to. Then when you get so comfortable with your gay or your trans or however you identify, then you automatically better than them? No, you're not better than them. That's still your friend. That's the person who you trusted with your biggest secret. You couldn't even tell your mother and father, but you told your best friend, but now you better than them. You motherfuckers is lost in the sauce. I'm telling you right now. Stay mad at me. You can kiss my dick in the face and start at the lips. Because I know what the truth is. I know what the truth is. Oh, a vagina don't make you a woman. That's their biggest argument. A vagina don't make you a woman. You ain't had the right vagina then, because I had some pussy last night. I'm feeling quite bitchy this morning. No, here's the killer. If a vagina don't make you a woman, why rush to cut your penis off to get what is not really a vagina? Because you will not really be a woman. Them your words, not mine. Them your words, not mine. Because you say a vagina don't make you a woman, but then you run to cut your penis off to get what's not really a real vagina, and then you still not going to be a real woman. It's just say that you want to do that for you, but don't try to discredit that a vagina don't make you a woman, because a vagina damn sure makes you a woman. A vagina makes you a woman, not a meat byproduct, because some of these SRSs is meat byproducts. Let me just talk about it. Be mad at me. I don't give a fuck. God give you a pussy. The doctor give you a hole. One more time. God give you a pussy. The doctor give you a hole. It's a Chicago nigga. This is what we do. Flame, you about to be back in jail. Been there, done that. Get out. Can do it again. Don't want to, but have.
Flame don't give no. Oh my!
Y'all. You're discrediting something that is so important to life. Because guess what? We could even be alive if a woman didn't have sex to have us. Women make trans women. Biological women make trans women, trans men, gay boys, fat boys, white women, black women, old women, skinny women, fat men, special needs children. Biological women have babies. So if they stop fucking, won't be no more trans. If you stop fucking, you just stop fucking. You can't get nobody pregnant unless you doing it the other way. Because you damn sure ain't finna have and carry no baby. And all that shit they doing now, we're talking about, oh, men are taking shots so they can breastfeed the baby. They can chest feed. Why? 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 Because y'all need something to do. First, it was the tampon box. Y'all was upset because we wasn't on the tampon box. What you need to be on the tampon box for? Even if you get an SRS, even if you go get the Obama coochie, the Obama slice is what I call it, the Obama slice. You're not going to bleed. You're not going to have a period. You just went and got sliced. You're not going to have a period. Even in your delusional.
I'm sorry, y'all. Slice is taking me out, not slice. Not you went and got sliced. 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 Y'all out here trying to get sliced. Give me a second.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
Just because you get sliced and diced, it don't make you one of us. Okay, I'm using. Flame got me adding ammo to my gun next time this conversation. Just because you went and got and bought yourself a slice, don't mean that you.
No, man, you're not gonna have a period. From what I hear, you ain't gonna bust a nut. But I don't know. That may not be true for everybody. But from the 4 or 5 girls I know who had an SRS, they can't even have an orgasm. Who gives up their orgasm to look in the mirror to say I'm pretty? I'm pretty with my orgasm. I'm prettier with it. Shit. You should see the way I shine afterward. Yeah, it's ridiculous. What's up, Samson? And shit like that. That bitch put that out there like that. That makes people really turn sour grapes against the community. This bitch, this
when
nigga
the
here.
transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods.
It must be some dumb, a dumb drug that they drop in the hormones nowadays. They must be dropping a dose of dumbness in the hormones that these bitches are taking.
A dumb drug.
I don't even believe she believed that. I think she just doing that because she needed some likes. She needed some views. She should have made up a lioness story like Carlee did down there in Alabama, her and Jussie Smollett. She should have made up a lioness story like that because, bitch, this ain't going to fly with nobody. Just preponderous. You cannot outgirl a girl when you were born as a boy. I need my sisters to remember that. Yes, you can be a fabulous female impersonator. You can be a beautiful trans woman, passable, though nobody know, and all of that. But you still got a man's heart, DNA, and mentality. You can't change that. The blood don't change. I know people who go to dialysis 3-4 times a week. They take the blood out, wash it, and put it back in. It don't change shit. It just take it and put it out and put it back in. If they was to take all your blood out as a trans woman and give you a biological woman's blood, you wouldn't survive because the blood is different. You wouldn't live.
Speak, scientists.
Baby, I don't know why these child. Now she thinks she gonna get a period. She ain't gonna get no damn period. She is gonna get a period at the end of a sentence. Shut the fuck up. Period. That's the period the bitch gonna get. Shut your dumb ass up. Period. Y'all send her that.
That was a good one. I like that one. I like that one. I was in the Twitter spaces and the debate was taking place and I'm listening and you had the women versus the trans women, of which there were only 2 trans women, and then it was men and women. And the women were like, period, but no period. Because they were talking to the trans women who were trying to like argue them up and down. Period, no period. She ain't gonna get no period outside of shut the fuck up. Period. I know that's right. Flame is just giving us the ammo that we need, the intellectual ammo to fight this battle next time, because this is exactly what we need. This type of energy coming from inside of the community. The call is coming from inside the house, and we need more calls coming from inside the house, because they act like we don't have the right to speak on shit that's making us uncomfortable. Meanwhile, they're the ones making us uncomfortable, telling us how to be women while trying to be women and cosplaying us, and not ultimately. I'm so glad this call is coming from inside the house, baby.
I don't know who she is, but that's her period. Shut your dumb ass up. Period. I need my daughter here to say, because she can say period. Because she sounds a damn fool. And anybody that's banned, and I'm upset with the activists, all these big name so-called activists. Where the fuck y'all at now? Y'all should be speaking out against this clown foolishness, because this is ridiculous. This is setting us back. This is what make us look stupid to people. Because they think we all believe like that, or we all think like that. But let me say it first. Let me be the first on my page to say it. I don't think like them dumb bitches think. I know what a woman is, who a woman is, and why a woman is. I also know who I am, what I am, and why I am. And why I am the woman I am because I watched the woman be the woman that I wanted to be. I.e., it started with my mother. Then I fucked up and saw Barbra Streisand and Diana Ross. Good God, look out. They feed into it. Well, they can keep on feeding into it. I ain't feeding into that dumb shit. I ain't stupid. And why all these angry bitches, you know, because a lot of these activists, for one podcast, I love women, I uphold women. Then the next podcast, women in competition with them, and they're homophobic. The women can't take them because I got big titties and woo woo woo. She ain't in competition with you because she ain't living your life. You living hers. Did I say that out loud? A biological woman ain't living our life. We're living theirs. People unfollowed you for addressing this on your story. Then you don't need them on your story. You don't need them on your story. Those are not your people. Those are not your people. Those are people that want to be with the popular masses. They want to be with the people that's popular. That's it, Teray. That's it, 2 July. I'm telling you, it is crazy. Hey, Leslie, by the way, they going crazy. That shit is preponderous. And I'm mortified that the so-called activists, I'm not speaking out against people like that because that is doing detriment to the community. The ones that were allies, when they hear shit like that, and then they hear the big name activists who always got something to say, especially towards me or anybody that don't speak the way they want them to speak. Now you quiet as the church house mouse. Oh, what you scared you're gonna lose your position? You're not gonna be able to be the ambassador for the gay parade next year. Oh, you're not gonna be able to be a spokesperson for something. Yeah. How about being a spokesperson for your mother? Because every time they ask me, Flame, what is a woman? What is a woman to you? I listen to all these trans girls say a woman is a social construct. A woman is a hormones and chromosomes. A vagina don't make you a woman. Then they ask my pretty ass. They say, Flame, what is a woman? I said, your mother. Because that's what the first woman you knew was your mother. Shit.
I'm so glad that Flame Monroe exists, period. Because what it does is when we get to talking about as biological women who are assigned female at birth, when we get to talking about part of the community that makes us uncomfortable, despite how we're literally just responding to their nastiness. Like, we're not just out here waking up like, let's just bother a certain, community today that's under the flag. No, like, we're responding to what makes us uncomfortable. And what's making us uncomfortable is them talking about their level of discomfort. They don't feel comfortable going into the male bathrooms and so on and so forth. What makes this conversation and this dialogue interesting is the fact that you'll have some people, why are you lumping all of us together? All of us ain't like that. The same way all women aren't like fill in the blank. When you decide to make your decisions or your whatever of, y'all don't want us in the bathroom. Y'all don't want us. Y'all generalize this all the time. Flame is one of those ones that makes sense. Caitlyn Jenner spoke up too about how Caitlyn Jenner did, and y'all know that's Kim Kardashian's stepfather, Kris Jenner's ex-husband, assigned male at birth, decided they want to live life as a woman, identify as a woman, and has had surgeries where it's wigs, cross dresses, and all that stuff, right? Considers himself to be trans. And spoke up and spoke out against people who are assigned male at birth participating in women's sports. So it makes it easier to make this argument of all of y'all aren't this way. And for us to say this person calls it out, Caitlyn Jenner calls it out, Flame Monroe calls it out. Y'all have unfair advantages in the spaces in which y'all try to oppress us. The erasure of the natural born woman, I'm gonna call women whatever I want, but however I identify today, you better adhere by my pronouns or else. it just gets to be a lot. So this kind of helps prove the point, because at no point do I think every transgender person thinks a lot or share the same exact thoughts or ideologies. Absolutely not. There are plenty of people who do get it and who do have common sense. However, I do see people who are whipped into submission, who are a part of this group, which can behave as a bully, a gang, a cult, because you're not allowed to disagree. I had someone on my show some months back, and I was like, how come y'all don't speak up and speak out about the pedophilia? And they were like, well, if we address the pedophilia, then they'll think that all of us are that way. So we would rather not address it. And I'm like, you would rather not disassociate yourself from a certain behavior that's being seen across the entire nation, day after day in the newspapers, people utilizing the loophole within the flag to target children. Y'all would rather not speak up and speak out against that, because you feel like it'll make you look bad, even if you're just disassociating yourself from such predatory, disgusting, illicit, and illegal behavior. Like, make that make sense for me. So not enough of them are brave enough to speak out. And again, I bring up this example, and we're about to move on to the next thing. I bring up this example about the Black community and the issues in any group, any community. We have an issue in our community. We don't want white people coming up talking about you Blacks and that Black on Black violence, or you're like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. We don't want white people coming to us and trying to quote unquote solve the issue or talk about the issue of Black on Black violence. Is it an issue? Yes, but it's something that we need to be handling in-house and holding our own accountable for. Otherwise, if we leave it unaddressed, it is a cancer and it is a plague, and it will eventually affect us all and come across as this like a consensus of behavior that we are all complicit with. And you should not be okay with problematic and detrimental shit when it comes to your community or your group. For the LGBT community, it's them. For the Black community, it's us. So if we don't want other people coming up and we feel like other people are being a little nasty or they stepping sideways when they address our issues, it means we need to have the boldness and the bravery to address it ourselves. There is nothing wrong with holding your own accountable. Accountability is not an attack. But oftentimes, our people in this day and age in 2023, we take it that way. And accountability is not an attack, especially when you're trying to disassociate yourself from some bogusness that is being associated with the group en masse, in large. Does that make sense? Like, I'm just saying. I'm going to read a couple comments and we're going to move on to the next subject.
Yeah, we all here because of biological women. And these bitches seem to hate biological women, but then want to be replacing biological women. You ain't going to never replace a biological woman with your booty hole, with your mouth, or with that man-made vagina. You're not. You're not. Because a man that is a connoisseur of the vajayjay gonna know when it's squishy and when it's iffy. Iffy is iffy or if it's squishy. Squishy, girl. Iffy, This don't smell the same. This don't taste the same. This don't, I don't know about how I feel. I don't ever want to taste it or smell it or feel it. I don't want one of them. I like the one God gave, not the doctor. And that ain't no shade. That's my preference. If I'm going to get me some biological snatch, it's got to be from a biological girl. I don't want the meat byproduct. Don't give me the 1/3 meat, impossible meat. I don't want the impossible burger. I want ground beef. That's terrible, Flame Monroe. And I'm glad that Jess spoke up against that, because Jess ain't wrong. They're gonna try to label Jess as being transphobic. Jess Hilarious. She ain't transphobic. She a fucking fruit fly. She love the gays. She is a official fruit fly. But enough is enough, and some shit is preponderous. And that statement from that NWT was preponderous. If you don't know what NWT is, keep up.
NWT is a nigga with titties, according to Flame Monroe. So, and Flame Monroe does consider themselves to be a nigga with titties, because Flame Monroe has made it openly known. I've listened to their interviews on the Breakfast Club a couple times. They kept their junk. Flame Monroe still has their eggplant, their 2 balls, and went and got some titties. So Flame Monroe considers themselves to be a nigga with titties. But I'm grateful at the fact that Flame stood up for women. Flame has been consistent with their messaging, so it doesn't come off as pandering to me, right? Some people, when it's convenient, when it seems like Black women are having a moment of vulnerability, people, sometimes it can seem like they're pandering towards the protection of Black women. But Flame has always been consistent throughout the years with how ludicrous, specifically the T section of the LGBT, a sector of the T section of the LGBT community can be. And I'm just so glad that Flame can call it out. It makes it easier for Flame to call it out than us, because you know how they like to sting you, like they worse than a beehive sometimes, you know? So, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, don't let allyship, don't let it go see your brain. And don't let it, and I'm not saying that Flame is a two-sided or a double-sided or a flip-flopper, but a lot of times people will learn your talking points and learn the means in which you need protection and parrot your talking points. And they'll parrot your talking points for a certain period of time, and then they'll flip it on you and switch and be like, I was there for you with this, but I feel like this, and then completely changed on you. And that's something we were speaking on in one of the last videos. But you know what? Shout out to Tamika's Den. Thank you for being here. Listen, y'all, hit thumbs up on the video if you haven't already. There are 334 of us here. There are only 174 thumbs up. What's really going on? What's really going on? We're going to get into our other topics, but I really need to know what's going on. Y'all got me sitting up here looking like Precious Mother, like Monique and like, what's going on? Why y'all ain't hit the thumbs up button? What's happening? Like, don't make me get the cat on y'all. You got the dog on me, baby. Don't make me get the... Leo, get down. Get down. It's not a thank you, because it's not a question. Because y'all ain't showing enough love. We be giving out commentary. And we just asking y'all to hit thumbs up, and it's free. If you are looking for other ways to support the show, you can feel free to send a cash app to $THA, PLAINESTjane. Not required, but if you do send a cash app, or if you're interested in sending a cash app or a super chat, just make sure you put $THA. Although my screen name is THE, my cash app is THA, PLAINESTjane. Okay, so just make sure you proofread it if you're going to send it. But let's get into our next story. But also, you don't have to support the show in a monetary way. Just hit thumbs up, just subscribe, and share this video with somebody via text message, in your group chat, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, however it is that you share videos. That also counts as well. The thumbs up, the cash apps, the super chats, they all really equate the same thing for me. So you can support the show in any way. You don't have to open your wallet to do so. Let's move on to our next subject, because y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. I think this is one of those things where it's in between Hollywood and real life. Unfortunately, and let me know if you've heard about this down below in the chat. Put a 3 in the chat if you heard that one of Obama's employees had passed away. And if you have heard any of the conspiracy. So put a 3 if you just heard that his employee passed away. Put a 4 if you heard that an employee passed away and you've heard a conspiracy as well. So I do want to get into the details. So yeah, 3 if you've heard about it, a 4 if you've heard about it and you've heard some conspiracies. I want to know where y'all land, child. You know, we, especially as Black people, we like to waste a lot of time on governmental conspiracies that we have no clue about. Like we have no clue what is really going on here. Like, what is happening? Like, like, what is going on? Like, let's get into the details. You know, people are always talking about the Illuminati. People are always talking, especially when you talk about Beyonce or a president. Like, there is no accidental death, or people just having a random, like a random death happens. Every death, baby, we are so consumed, and I can't wait to, I'll talk about Jamie Foxx after this, because the Jamie Foxx thing has really taken over our brains, and I just feel like we need to refocus ourselves, because this is just getting too out of control. However, let's get into this story, okay? Former President Barack Obama's personal chef has drowned near the family's home in Martha's Vineyard. So Massachusetts State Police confirmed that the paddleboarder whose body was recovered from the pond on Monday was Tafari Campbell. He was 45 years old and he was from Virginia. Now, he was employed by the Obamas and he was visiting Martha's Vineyard, and Michelle and Barack were not present at the home at the time of the accident. Now, in a statement, the former president and his wife, Michelle Obama, called the chef a, quote, beloved part of their family. And they say, quote, when we first met him, he was a talented sous chef at the White House. He was creative. He was passionate about food and its ability to bring people together. In the years that followed, they got to know him as a warm, fun, extraordinarily kind person who made all of their lives a little bit brighter. And that's why when they were getting ready to leave the house, the White House, they asked Tafari, 45-year-old Tafari, to stay with them. And he generously agreed. So he'd been a part of their lives ever since, and their hearts are broken now that he's gone, end quote. Okay. And so the search for the missing paddleboarder started on Sunday after reports from a fellow paddleboarder that he had struggled on the surface. He went under, he didn't resurface. The search paused late Sunday, but on Monday, state police said sonar from a boat located the body about 100 feet, which is 30 meters, from shore at a depth of about 8 feet, which is 2.4 meters, and he was not wearing a life jacket, according to police. So the Obama said that he is survived by his wife and their twin boys. So this is a really unfortunate situation. What I can tell you all, though, is, like I said, there have been infinite conspiracy theories pertaining to this case and this situation. I'll show you. A lot of people have been scouring his social media. Let me enlarge this on the screen. So here we go. And a lot of people have said this. This is a singular tweet, but it is a really great video as far as giving you insight as to what the general consensus is. I'm not saying that this is fact, and I'm not implicating anything. However, a lot of people have this exact connotation. And it says, new video footage from Tafari Campbell's Instagram page shows he was a proficient swimmer and took fitness very similarly. He was Obama's personal chef, and he tragically drowned in 8 feet of water after a paddleboarding incident, according to authorities. Now, his fitness highlight on Instagram shows him practicing backstroke, freestyle, recording a 40-minute swim workout with his Apple Watch, and even benching 315 pounds. Now, he clearly took very good care of himself in the kitchen and in the gym. Here is the video that I want you all to see that people are sharing online. What are your thoughts? So, what are your thoughts from like I said, there are conspiracy theories galore. I'm curious to know all of your final thoughts and unanswered questions. I'll share mine while you comment yours down below in the chat. I like, how is this affecting the Obamas in their long-term career and success? I don't think it'll affect them. It's no different in my opinion. Regardless of what people think the truth is or is not, anytime somebody passes away surrounding high caliber people, you always hear Illuminati. I just feel like a lot of us are obsessed with conspiracy theories, whether it be Beyonce, Obama, Jamie Foxx, they're being cloned, whatever the case is. And that's one of the things that I've noticed. I feel like it just consumes our mind, these parasocial relationships. Sometimes I feel like those conspiracies are warranted. You know, for example, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, and Kim Porter, right? She had a tell-all book coming out that we could actually confirm and that we knew about. But it's a really sticky situation in my opinion. But I do pass the question off to you, Stickies. What are your thoughts and where do you land with this story with Michelle and Barack Obama's chef, who was 45 years old, say he was a proficient swimmer? One thing that I did notice in the video that a lot of people are using in order to, I guess, prove their conspiracy is he had on flippers. He wasn't just, swimming. I mean, he wasn't necessarily just swimming by himself, if that makes sense. So, comparing somebody wearing flippers to somebody who was actually in a pond that was 8 feet deep. I don't know, like you're comparing how somebody can swim in an extremely controlled environment with the duck flippers on, the controlled environment also being the pool and the wavelengths and how much friction and tugging there was. I'm not sure there's enough to really sit and incriminate Barack Obama, but or anybody for that matter. But one thing we like to do without evidence is let our imaginations go completely buck wild. Like Carlee Russell, right? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's just not enough proof for me to. Everybody's literally basically accusing Barack or Michelle of being murderous Illuminati members because this man drowned in a pond when they weren't home. So, I don't know. Very strange to me. Very, very strange to me. But like I said, I passed the question off to you, whether you're on the bus right now or whether you're catching the replay right now. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comment section. All right. So y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the next story. Don't forget to check in on your mental health in the meantime and in between time. And like I said, if you're looking for ways to support the show, just hit like or thumbs up. It's the free way to do it. If you got $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever it is that you can spare, not required, you can hit up the Cash App. Make sure you proofread $THA, or you can send a Cash App. Not required. Just hit thumbs up if that's not something that you're in on. Okay. So I do want to get into a small little segment. It said, yes, Jane, you need to do a panel. Yeah. Let's that would be nice if we could do a panel tomorrow. We might do a backstage or in front of everyone. Let's get into a quick episode. Okay. Y'all know one of my segments. Y'all know one of my segments is what the hell is wrong with y'all? And so y'all know I'm always going to come through with what the hell is wrong with y'all. Let's get into why niggas don't trust the water. Why black folk are so leery about the water and what be going on. Okay, let's get into this. And thank y'all for hitting thumbs up and supporting the show.
Determination was a person.
Okay, first of all, the music is taking me out. Let's just start there. Let's start there. But let's continue.
If determination was a person.
No, because why when she finally got on the thing, she finally got on that thing. And she was like, yeah, I'm on here. Give up about it, and then fell right off. Baby, baby, I lost it. The music, it is that flamenco wasn't having it. I feel like it's got to be some sort of impossible to sit on floaty flamenco. Like, what? What is this? Like everybody was trying to help her get on that thing. She was determined. The fact that she started out stretching also sent me as well. It sent me. Yes, it did.
If determination was a person. If determination.
I've been weakened and now I'm strong again. However, it was a sound effect. Titanic has always been my favorite movie. You know, Titanic is the name in itself and everything with the submersible and all that other mess. So the music here and her really like not ever being able to straddle that flamenco and ride that flamenco the way she should have been able to ride that. She should have been able to ride that flamenco, but she could never really straddle that flamenco. And then we had the Titanic music in the background. And, you know, it was a lot. You know, but she gave it all she had. She was even stretching to start with. It's like she already knew that was one of them, like, difficult flamencos. You know, I'm proud of her for trying. I would have tried, too. Fuck it. Like, because once I'm getting my hair wet, I'm getting my hair wet. So we just going to keep doing dumb shit till I'm ready to get out. You know, like, it is what it is. Nonetheless, that was one of the many very necessary funny parts of the show. Okay, well, what you want? Well, what is it? I'm being harassed. I'm being harassed. What you doing? All right. You Slang gave us the $3 of rent that you owe. I only charge him $3 for rent. He either need to come in here and talk to y'all every video, or he need to pay us $3 for rent. And it's like, yo, go find a way to make it. Like, go find a way to make it. Like, damn, like, you're not gonna find $3 rent nowhere else. Like, what the hell? I left him outside by mistake one time and he was crying the whole night. But see, he was in my dreams and I thought he was inside the house. It's a whole nother story. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. This is definitely part of the episode of what the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all being us. We have a certain relationship. Okay. You want to get down? Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. I'm playing with his feelings and he know it. I'm sorry, buddy. All right, you can stay right there. Okay, so let's keep the show going. Great show, great show, great show. Make sure y'all hit thumbs up if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. All right. Always some unexpected good stickiness, tea, celebrity stuff, real world stuff. There's some things going on. And listen, we need to talk about Kanye real quick. We need to talk about Kanye West. And make sure you comment down below. Drop some pancakes down below in the chat if you have not already. If you haven't already, dropped some pancakes down below in the chat, baby. I don't know what you're waiting for, but the time has come. Pay up or shut up. Drop some pancakes down below in that chat. Okay? All right. Now, moving on to our next subject. We're moving on swiftly and professionally. Okay? If you follow me on Twitter, you already know I'm all about the shenanigans. Same name on Twitter as I am on here, @thePLAINESTjane. You can also search Thong Song Enthusiast because I'm right there. Okay? Now look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Somebody tell me that. Kanye has got to be stopped. Okay? What is this? I think that y'all know what it is and y'all just playing pretend. Now, let me lead the story with this. It's difficult to really figure out and confirm what his unreleased designs will be or what they will look like. North wearing unreleased Yeezy Season 9 jacket. Now, what does that look like to you? Now, what does that look like to you? Tell me. Somebody. Shout out to Wisdom for the $2 super sticker. I appreciate that. Wisdom sent the $5 and said, if you ever have an open panel, prescribers to address the previous subject, I would love to be a part of that. Well, awesome. You could definitely be a part of it. I definitely do want to have some days where I have people call in and other days where I just stick to the show topic so that the show can stay as organized as possible. So I definitely wouldn't mind you being a part. However, Kanye know what he doing. What is this? What's this? What's this right here? What are we talking about? And here's my thing. Two things can be true at once. Is Kanye a little special? Is he a little touch? You remember your grandmother when you might have been at Sunday school, church, playing with some people around the neighborhood, and you was getting a little critical, like something not right with them, and you was either making fun of it or you was just, and your grandmother said, baby, they're a little touched. Be careful, they're a little touched. Your grandmother said they're a little touched. Do I think Kanye is a little touched? Absolutely. He is absolutely a little touched. But two things can be true at once. He's intentional as hell. He know what he be doing. He had the White Lives Matter memorabilia or paraphernalia, should I say. He had the White Lives Matter stuff. He's always doing some inflammatory, inherently racist, siding with Candace Owens. He's always spewing Candace Owens and her husband, who is not of color, always spewing, their thought process. Two things can be true at once. He's very intentional and he knows what he's doing. He knows that outrage is social currency. Kanye West knows 100% that outrage is social currency. Period, point blank. He knows that. He knows exactly what he's doing. The thing about it is, what sucks when it comes to our community is we be making excuses, and we're quicker to make them for Black men than we make them for Black women. But people be handing out mental illness jackets like there's no tomorrow. Like there's no freaking tomorrow. Like, oh, they're, you know, a lot of mentally ill people don't do all that Kanye does or Carlee Russell does, or whoever the case is. People don't even be coming out saying that they mentally ill, but people just be trying to hand it out. Sometimes you can kind of tell that something's off. There might be a chemical imbalance or whatever the case is. But the way we be handing them out like they life jackets is like out of control. It's out of control. Stop making excuses for people. Stop it. And two things can be true at once. A lot of mentally ill people do not live their lives the way that Kanye or Carlee or whoever else that you want to give this excuse to is. But also two things can be true at once. You ain't never seen a person who was living with mental illness who also kind of had people wrapped around their finger at the same time because they knew they got a certain amount of empathy and default sympathy, and people let their guard down because they feel like, oh, you're a little mentally delayed. You might be a little touched. You might be a little delayed, but they might also still know how to manipulate you too. So I don't understand why people be acting like two things can't be true at one time. He don't know what he doing. He mental. Or he know what he doing. He not mental. I think that it is both. And I think that he refuses to medicate himself accordingly. But, you know, I can't diagnose him. I've never had a private conversation with him. But a lot of the stuff that he does doesn't make sense. And a lot of the stuff that he does comes off very, very calculated. Very calculated, like he has incorporated the fact that people are naturally by default not only going to feel sorry for him because he's already screamed mental health or let it be known that he has mental health issues, but because he's a celebrity, he's a Black man, he makes music. How do you think R. Kelly was able to get away with his for 30 years at a time? It wasn't the fact that everybody took into account the fact that he had been molested, because a lot of people don't know that R. Kelly has been molested. However, it was the fact that once you are a man, a Black man, to make really soulful, powerful, impactful music in the community, it becomes really hard for people to hold you accountable or let you go. And sometimes that accountability, especially if you're like, you know, targeting kids or whatever, people don't want to let that go. And so they make excuses, the way they made excuses for R. Kelly for 30 years. This is a man who was literally the king of R&B, and had he never did what he did with children, nobody would have a problem with calling him the king of R&B, because that's honestly what he would have been. But he ruined that for himself. But we have a problem holding Black male musicians who have contributed very valuable things to the music landscape. We have a problem, and it's almost like we're apprehensive when it comes to holding them accountable for their crap. We want to coddle them. Do men coddle us when we fuck up as Black women? But for some reason, we be coddling Black men when they mess up, especially if they've contributed good music, a song or two, an album or two, a decade or two, a decade or three. I don't care how many decades you have given us amazing music for. When you begin abusing children, I have to separate, not even separate, because some people want to separate by holding him accountable and still listening to his music. I have to disassociate from it altogether, right? But that's a whole nother conversation. My whole point here is Kanye, his designer's sewing machine needs to be broken. This is becoming a bit much. At this point, he's literally trying to anger us. At this point, Kanye has realized I can't be anti-Semitic, right? I can't talk mess about the Jews. He apologized. Who was the other group of people he offended? He offended a couple of different groups of people. He's like, I can't offend them. I can't offend them. But you know who he can offend? and be infinitely forgiven for and never meet the repercussions of? His own. He can come out with, let's just say, let's just assume this was real. If this was real, right? Because I've been trying to confirm if this is real or not all day, but I wouldn't put it past Kanye for this to be real. He knows I can offend niggas. These my own people. They're way too forgiving. They're quick to forgive, especially if it comes from me, right? If this was coming from a white person, it would have been. So he know he's got to apologize to the Jews. He's got to kiss up to the whites, but he knows the group of people that he can offend and never have to apologize for, because they're by default they're going to make excuses for him or us or his own. So yeah, now he's going to come out with racist wear the same way that was it Louis Vuitton, or I can't remember what brand it was. All things stated in this video are alleged and according to reports, by the way. But there has been a plethora of racist paraphernalia, high-end paraphernalia, like nothing under $700, $1,000 paraphernalia in the high-end marketplace, where people are able to, quote unquote, look Gucci. It was Gucci. Where people have been able to low-key be racist and buy racist shit from these companies, whether they be monkeys, nooses, the monkeys in blackface with the red lips, blackface, whatever the case is. Kanye knows who he can and who he cannot treat a certain type of way. And at what point are we going to stand up and speak the fuck out about it and scream from the rooftops? Or are we just going to keep on with this, glorifying him like he's a god and saying he's a genius? Kanye has been right twice a day like any other broken clock. But it's time we start to speak up a Balenciaga too. It's time that we speak up and out against his bizarre behavior. It's time. But a lot of us are afraid because, again, it's difficult for us to let go of powerful, Black, and impactful musicians. It is what it is. This leads me into our next subject that we will be speaking about this evening. And thank y'all for hitting thumbs up on the video if you have not already. Make sure y'all share this video because we are getting down to the nitty gritty. It is 3 o'clock in the morning and we are still going strong. Okay. So let's get into our next subject, shall we? Make sure you hit the notification bell if you haven't already hit the notification bell. What that bell does is it makes sure that anytime that I go live, whether it be 1 in the morning, 7 in the afternoon, whatever the case is, it makes sure that you get the notifications. It doesn't cost anything, but it is one of those free ways that you can support the show. Okay? Let's go. Get into this Black-owned business, Stickies. It's got things for inside your home, outside your home, and even on the go. JasmineMadeIt.com is your new destination for Black-owned magic mugs, tumblers, and even wine glasses. You can even customize the tumblers and wine glasses. There's a lot going on for a low price over at JasmineMadeIt.com. And if you've been serious about wanting to support more Black-owned businesses, here's your chance. Let JasmineMadeIt.com handle all your problems for family and friends. You ever had a friend over and they just wasn't catching the hint or paying the rent?
Our asses all get to stepping.
Yeah, tell them to get to stepping with this nostalgic Martin-themed doormat and shop over a dozen different doormat designs over on JasmineMadeIt.com. All right, Stickies, you know what time it is. It's time to put your money where your mouth is and shop Black today. Make life easier for you and your household by taking your family's hot or cold beverages on the go with one of these unique tumblers. It's insulated to keep your beverage at temperature, and it comes with a few different reusable straws and even the specific brush that you need to wash it so you can keep it sanitized and germ-free. They've got all kinds of designs to match your mood or style. So grab something for your wife, the hubby, or even the kids over on JasmineMadeIt.com. That's JasmineMadeIt.com, and I'll see you over there. All right, and we are back. Let's get into our next subject. Sunkisser says YouTubers are no better. Y'all are spreading and doing the same ish for a bag like celebrities, sportmen's, etc. Hmm. What a generalization that is. Sunkisser, would you like to call in? Let us know down below in the chat if you would like to call in. I just want some clarity on exactly what subject you're speaking about so that I don't take what you're saying out of context. There have been several things that we've been talking about. The last thing I was talking about was Kanye West and the exploitation of him and his own, illnesses. And a lot of what I said has really been about the, it's the best way to say that. A lot of what I've said pertaining to Kanye West has been about how people refuse to hold him accountable because of his contributions. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly before I kind of respond to your statement. If you would like to call in, feel free. Let me know. I'll drop the link. But before I get ahead of myself and try to assume what point you are or are not trying to make, let me know if you want to call in, because I will definitely extend that floor to you to actually elaborate your point. Because when you say YouTubers are no better, well, I'm a YouTuber and I'm speaking about a problem amongst anybody with a public voice, whether you're a YouTuber, an Instagram blog, a website, a regular fan, and anybody. And I feel like I'm calling them to the carpet. So when you say YouTubers, I feel like, are you including me in this? When I'm actually calling out an issue that needs to be dismantled, because we shouldn't be acting this way. We shouldn't be supporting this bullcrap, from people who have an extended track record of predatory behavior. So, before I respond in a certain way, and assume that maybe you're talking mess about me or other YouTubers, maybe it's just like a blanketed statement and you didn't mean for it to cover everyone. I'm just kind of like trying to figure out, like, where you're coming from. So if you want to provide some clarity, sure. If not, that's cool too. But I do acknowledge your comment, because Kanye should be known by now. And trust me, I don't mean no harm. It's all to keep us confused and going in circles. Well, okay. All right. So moving on. So when I talk about stop making excuses for people, right? Because this is exactly what I was talking about before we went on break. Stop making excuses for people. Stop throwing people this mental illness life jacket. Okay? Like there's no tomorrow. Because what does it do for us? I feel like it does nothing but dilute the actual individuals with who are living with and fighting through living with mental illness, right? And so to transition this story, I'm moving on to Carlee Russell. So now her ex-boyfriend has made a statement. We've got some additional updates, and baby, let me tell you. So let's get into what her now ex-boyfriend has to say. Now, mind you, a lot of people were saying that she was doing this because she wanted attention from her now ex-boyfriend, because he was allegedly breaking up with her. So what he says here is this: Carlee's actions created hurt, confusion, and dishonesty. I was made aware of the false narrative after committing to the defense of my ex, Carlee Russell. Myself and my family's nature was to react in love and genuine concern. We're disgusted from the outcome of this entire situation. I strongly feel exactly like all of y'all. I feel blindsided by Carlee's actions. This is still an ongoing investigation, but with all of the recent information and her confusion now, we gain closure with this situation. Thank you to all of my family, friends, and the nation for support through this. I want to also send my prayers and thanks to Miss Angela Haley Harris and her team for all of the volunteers. Thank you again for all of your unwavering support. The severity in this matter has not been overlooked. And I deeply respect the genuine support shared during this situation. Please continue to keep us in your prayers. With love, Thomar. So, seems like she, according to the internet's consensus, is that she was doing this because he was breaking up with her in one way, shape, or form. And she, quote unquote, did all this to get his attention. Well, it's clear that he's gone now. His initial statement was in defense of her. I found it to be really interesting. Like I said, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm a hoot. I am a hoot. But if you follow me on Twitter, you saw you saw when her former employer spoke out. See, I felt some type of way when I saw that Carlee Russell stole toilet paper, one roll of toilet tissue, a bathrobe, and $107 from her place of employment. I'm like, where the hell does she work? Everybody keeps talking about nurse. What's going on? Where does she work? Come to find out she works at a spa. Okay. Well, the spa, Carlee ain't spoke out. Carlee didn't have her attorney speak out now, but Carlee ain't spoke out herself, right? And her former employer was kind of like, shit, she ain't gonna speak out. Well, I will, because a lot of people have gained access to the knowledge of where she used to work. So her former employee, because she's been fired now, obviously, she stole a roll of toilet tissue, a bathrobe, and $107, but she's fired. In addition to all the bad publicity, right? A lot of people have been calling there, giving them death threats, leaving them 1-star reviews, and so on and so forth. There was $63,000 that was donated to Carlee and her peoples when they were trying to locate her in the 49 hours that she was missing. She has since lawyered up. We all know that when it came to the baby she seen on the side of the road, that motherfucker is not real. The baby was never real. Okay. I'm still wondering about that imaginary baby, but I have to remind myself that motherfucker, I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker is not real. Because the baby was never real. So now she's got an attorney that is saying that she never saw a baby. She's handling her issues. They've never mentored her mental stability or lack thereof. They just said that she's gonna, handle her quote unquote issues, whatever the issues were. Living in the land of delusion, living in the land of being stigmatized, living in the land of, I thought she was the side woman, but I guess I don't know, but they, long story short, all I'm saying is, because it was somebody in the Discord that was like, y'all need to go, as Black women, y'all need to call her mentally ill, because this has a negative connotation on y'all as a whole. And I'm like, what's that going to change? The damage is already done. Whether we classify her as mentally ill or throw her that life jacket, which is why I feel like this ties into the last story about Kanye West. Like, two things can be true at once. Like, you can be a little off Carlee Russell already seemed to be slow. If you're literally Googling do Amber Alerts cost money? How much does it cost to send out an Amber Alert? As if a missing child. And then what's the oldest age for whatever? Okay. Taken. Okay. One way ticket from Birmingham to Nashville. Okay. The girl was 25 years old. She was dumb as a box of rocks. If you're thinking Amber Alert costs money, if you think when your child go missing that people need to pay that, and that's how you research for your little powwow to get away and get this nigga's attention, like your elevator is not going all the way to the top. However, you can still she's slow. She was 25. She was never working with a full deck of cards. At no point. I say all this to say, she could be facing charges. Her attorney has came out and stated that there was never a baby, a child, or anything of that nature. And slapping mental health on her is not going to help anything. It's not going to take away anything. It's not going to contribute to the betterment when it comes to the perception of Black women, missing Black women in distress. It's not going to help. The damage is already done. It's done, right? And so there was somebody in the Discord who was like, y'all need to just go ahead and call her mentally ill. First of all, she won't even come out and call herself mentally ill. At the very least, if that's something that she wanted us to buy, even without words, she would check herself into a facility. Has she done that? Even Designer, y'all remember Designer was on an airplane not too long ago. He stood up, he was masturbating, Vaseline fell, had his penis out or whatever. Before the plane landed, his team already had him checked into a facility and saying, look, this is a mental health. He had an episode. He had a crisis. Carlee won't even say, I got an episode. I got a crisis. When the first press conference came out, when the first press conference went down, a reporter asked, is this anything mental? Does she have a history of mental illness? The guy said, no, there's no history of mental. Okay. Carlee's attorney comes out and says, there was never a baby, but she's dealing with her issues. At no point did they say mental issues, emotional issues. At no point did they say, oh, she's going to be in certain mental facility. She's not even taking the accountability herself to even, and even if it was a lie or an excuse, why would we spoon feed her and shove mental illness down her throat when it's not even something that she's willing to consider out loud, which honestly could save her ass a little bit. Honestly, if she would have come out and say, I got a little mental issue, it would save her ass a little bit. It wouldn't be believable to me, but it would save her ass a little bit to the people who want. She's not even willing to do that. So I'm not here with just saying, and like I said, the person in the Discord who was like, y'all Black women, y'all need to just go ahead and say it was mental illness. I'm like, oh, so anytime a Black woman fuck up and don't take accountability, we just supposed to slap mental illness on it? This takes away from the people who are actually living and suffering with mental illness. And how many Black women are suffering with mental illness? Or not even living with, should I say, excuse me, let me say that the right way. How many Black women are living with mental illness and do shit like this? This is some one of a kind. There are so many women living with mental, or people just living with mental illness who are not doing outlandish shit like this. This takes away, if we were to just throw her this lifeline, like, no. Is there something wrong with her? Absolutely. If the girl was 25 years old and she has a kid, okay, because she is a mother, and she's Googling, does it cost to put out an Amber Alert? She's not working with a full deck of cards. That doesn't mean that she shouldn't be held accountable for her actions. She's dense, but she was also looking to get away with some crap. Period. And, you know, that's just my thought. And I mean, like I said, you know, now she's lawyered up. People have donated $63,000, over $63,000 total, right? That has been donated to her. No refunds. Okay. So the $63,000 that was donated when people were in distress, and looking for her and searching for her, that's where we are. That's exactly where we are. So it is what it is. But I do pass the question off to you, Stickies. What are your thoughts? What do you think about Carlee Russell and her situation? I wanted to do a stream on her for a while, but I had my own situation where on the same day that she went missing, I had a really bizarre thing happen to me in my actual own world, in my own life. So we still need to talk about Carlee, though. So it is what it is. All right. So let's get into, we got like, what about like 3 more subjects? We got like 3 more subjects. So let's go ahead and get into Florida, the school system. I wonder if there's anybody in Florida. If there's anybody in Florida who actually can speak to what their experience is down there. That'll be interesting. Make sure you hit thumbs up. Make sure you drop pancakes if you haven't already. And we'll be right back in 10 seconds.
Anyway.
Y'all are funny as shit in the Discord. Please get out of my... Y'all are out of control in the Discord. Please. Ooh, y'all are out of control in the Discord. If you were in the Discord, go into the TPJ screenshot channel. I am so shooketh. Y'all really got to grow up and y'all really need to chill, like right away. Okay, anyway. Y'all are out of control. All right. Oh, shit. I got to hurry up. Okay. So, oh, God. We was talking about this earlier, so. I'm a victim of police brutality. So, okay. So, here we go with this. Florida has rolled out a controversial curriculum. It's filled with a snowball effect of revisionist history. So, oppression and bondage, according to them, just summarizing, right? Just giving you the synopsis. They're saying it basically helped Black slaves to develop skills that could be used to their personal benefit, a valuable set of skills. I guess they thought that they were Liam Neeson and goddamn Taken and whatnot. But the better question is, what did they learn? What did they learn from enslaving our ancestors? That's the part I'm trying to understand. I already spoke about that earlier, so I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it right now. But it's just, you know, the Florida school system, I'm for it and I'm against them taking the Black history out of schools, because again, how can we expect the oppressor to teach us how they have oppressed us when they're still trying to oppress us, while we're expecting them to make themselves look innocent. We need to be teaching Black history at home, but the audacity of them trying to act like y'all were hostile and we were hostile too, and things of that nature, it's out of control. It makes you want to punch somebody. I could totally want to punch somebody, but if you want real Black history taught to your kids, like real Black history, like stop, you really dependent on the white folk who agree with what their grandparents did. You dependent on them to teach your kids that, or are you teaching your kids that, or the blackity black or black aunt or uncle that you have, or the museums or the history books, or like whatever. You can't possibly expect these Ritz crackers with no cheese to teach your kids who they are and who they aren't, and what they've survived and what they shouldn't have to survive again. There's no way. There's no way. And if you have that sort of expectation coming from these male mascots and these lice lieutenants, then I pray for you. And I pray for your family. But I do think that Black history should be taught at home. I do think that we should have guidance, and we should have lots of different, simulations, and there should be help, right? Not to say that Black parent, like every Black parent or Black household knows of, several stories, but we need to have our own like systems and ways that we invite Black history into our homes, like hairdresser and barbershop, talk. You would literally be a fool. You'd be an idiot to expect the oppressor to teach you about you surviving slavery despite all that they did to oppress you and to put you in bondage, and to expect them to be honest with you about how they oppressed you. And at some points they were successful, and at other points they weren't, and everything in between. So I know my unpopular opinion of, okay, take Black history out of the schools. Who cares? Because y'all was diluting it anyway. It was already diluted to start with. It's just like the Carlee Russell situation. Carlee Russell about to stop everybody from getting recognition from being. They didn't give a shit about missing Black or minority women to begin with. Did Carlee help? Absolutely not. But you see what I'm saying? Those are my thoughts, though. Probably an unpopular opinion. Like I said, one of the more interesting parts of this story or this scenario is the fact that they said that we developed oppression and bondage to help the Black slave develop skills that could be used for their personal benefit. Yeah, we enslaved you, but didn't y'all learn some skills that y'all was able to go off and become successful with, huh? Valuable life skills from y'all fucking enslaving us and us figuring out how to survive underneath that whip and watching my dad get. The better question here is, what did they learn from enslaving our ancestors? Don't talk about the outcome. If you want to play semantics and say, well, you know what, the outcome of slavery was y'all learned a very valuable set of skills. Well, what set of skills did y'all learn from incriminating us? What's the set of skills there? You learn how to oppress people, how to overtake people, how to overcome people, how to belittle people, how to be condescending towards people. What did you learn? Since we playing semantics, because I guaranteed you learned a bit more than we did. However, Here's what it is. In more real world news, let's get into this brother right here. All right. So this is, put a little bit on the screen. We're going to get into more real world news because, again, y'all are on the Black News bus. Sometimes we'll sit up, we'll cut up, we'll laugh, we'll joke. It's cool. That's fine. But we do have to talk about real world news at one point or another. Hey, wait a minute. Ain't that Brandy's brother? Straight from the east side. That's how I ride. All right. Here's another one. Ray J. Tell him where it's from. All right. So moving on now on some serious stuff. From the land of women. Oh my Jesus. Okay, so let's get into this because this young man has literally been waiting trial for the longest time. Okay, like an extremely long time. So there's been a mistrial that has been declared after a man has waited 10 years in jail for his day in court. Let's get into this story here. Okay. So a mistrial has been declared for a man who has waited 10 years in jail for his day in court. On Monday, a hung jury declared it was unable to reach a verdict in the trial of Maurice Jimerson, the Georgia man who has been behind bars for 10 years while awaiting trial. Now, Jimerson was remanded back to jail while he waits for a hearing next week and a possible reduction in bond. Now, because there was no verdict, he could likely face an entire new trial. Now, his co-defendant, Condell Benyard, who has been incarcerated for 7 years while awaiting trial, he was found not guilty of all 26 charges brought against him, and Jimerson also faced 26 charges. So Jimerson's attorney, his name is Andrew, said that his client's incarceration is the, quote, longest pretrial detention in Georgia history and the second longest in United States history. And so he is representing Jimerson for free as a result of the coverage of the case from Atlanta News First Investigates. He says, I'm old-fashioned. I think people should be convicted of a crime before they're punished. This is an unprecedented case. This is about a core constitutional right, the right to a speedy trial, the right to due process. And when you see people denied that right, the public needs to know about it, end quote. 2 defendants were found not guilty back in 2013 in connection with the crime, believed to have been a gang-related shooting. Now, prosecutors have stated their, quote, definitive belief that both Benyard and Jimerson were the active shooters in the case, but Jimerson has been alleged by prosecutors to have been the 4th shooter in the crime and is alleged to be the 5th. So Jimerson's family said that they've been on an emotional roller coaster, but they're not giving up. They say, quote, his constitutional rights have been violated. No one has paid attention. They put him in there and they forgot about him, end quote. And so according to the district attorney, his last name is Edwards, he blamed the pandemic and a flood in the courthouse as the reasons for the delays. And they say, quote, the bulk of delay was beyond the control of anybody. We've been making every effort to bring him to trial, end quote. Edwards also told the jury that there was a witness who told investigators that he saw Jimerson at the shooting and that, quote, the information is enough beyond a reasonable doubt to find the defendants guilty, end quote. However, Fisherman reminded the jury that witnesses later recanted their story, admitting that he lied. The district attorney's main witness was a man who came forward 3 years after the crime, serving time in prison. And he claimed he saw Jimerson pull the trigger 10 years ago. But in court this week, he admitted that he lied about Jimerson to get out of prison. He says, quote, no cell phone location, no DNA, no fingerprints, and only one eyewitness who recanted his testimony, end quote. Now, Edwards says he plans to put Jimerson back on trial and believes he'll get a guilty verdict because he'll have more time to call witnesses who can link Jimerson to the shooting. So the Attorney General plans to appeal this case to the Georgia Supreme Court, arguing the 10-year trial delay violated the client's Sixth Amendment right to a speedy trial. This is a really unfortunate situation. It sucks. It doesn't matter how much you know about law or what you know is or is not fair. When someone wants to stick it to you, they're going to stick it to you. And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing in this case right now. 89, 95, 96% of what is happening to this young man behind bars is completely unfair, honestly, whether he did it or not. But he hasn't had his day in court, and it's been a decade. This is a really unfortunate situation. Y'all know I know a little bit about the law. I covered the R. Kelly case, which is the reason why I was mentioned by the New York Times based off of my R. Kelly coverage. And whether it be civil law or criminal law, I can get a glimpse from the outside looking in and see whether something is right or wrong. And this is a really wrong situation. It doesn't matter if I think this young man did it. And honestly, I don't even have, even if I felt that this young man did it, I wouldn't tell y'all. I wouldn't tell you. Because at the end of the day, an attorney's job, right? And I'm not an attorney, but I do have the mind of an attorney. An attorney's job is really not to sit up here about whether you're guilty or innocent. It's about, finding loopholes in whatever established rules you have in place. What can I get around? Did you do something wrong? Was there a procedural issue, a mistake, or whatever? If you didn't dot a certain I or cross a certain T, I might be able to finagle my client out of this. And I don't even have to consider this man's guilt or lack thereof in order to definitively be able to say, this is not right. How they've been treating this young man is not right. Especially if you have a partner who's alongside him facing the same amount and type of charges, number one. Then you've got somebody who tried to lessen their sentence by rolling on me, number two. Then they come out and say, well, I rolled on you just so I could lessen my sentence, number three. All of this stuff combined is truly enough to put in front of a jury to just about exonerate him. Just about. So those are just, my thoughts about this situation. But, per usual, we got to talk about the real news that is going on in the world. Okay. So let's get into our next piece of information. Look, if you are enjoying the show, all you got to do is hit thumbs up. I do appreciate it. We got 253 thumbs up. There are 277 people here. A lot of you all could support the show for free by just hitting the thumbs up button. If you want to do a little something extra, feel free to send a super chat or a super sticker, or you can send a cash app right here, $THA. Just make sure you proofread it before you hit send. Okay. So let's continue with the let's continue. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do so. All right. Okay. South Park. I'm not even a South Park type of gal. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this. Exclusive. Tupac Shakur's death investigation sees forensic test bullets found at Keefe D's home. Now, how are y'all feeling about this? How are y'all feeling about the certain seemingly random resurgence, a newfound piece of interest pertaining to the case, or the death, shall we say, of Tupac Shakur? Let's get into the information, and then I want to see what you think. So it does look like there, and like I said, this is the reason why I have on my Tupac shirt today. Okay. We got on our Tupac shirt today. Okay. But nonetheless, let's get into this information though. So it looks like there's an update in the case leading to what could be the answer to who killed Tupac. Now, if you remember, it was previously reported on a story about police raiding a home in connection to Keefe D, who was the uncle of Tupac's alleged shooter named Orlando Brown. So police claim that they have recovered bullets that were found in the backyard of the home. So now this is all according to the Daily Mirror. So we'll go ahead and follow through and see if they're really telling the truth, because I did see the line of the police officers going over there. Now, those bullets were recovered, and they will allegedly undergo forensic testing to see if they're linked to the bullets that were found in Tupac's body or on the scene from the shooting. These bullets and clothes from the incident have reportedly been kept in secure storage for over 25 years now. The storage also includes full-scale laboratory analysis of shells, bullets, and powder from the crime scene, meaning that if those bullets from the evidence found match up, that this case might be on its way to being solved. And although it's still too early to claim anything, microfibers or residue from the weapon or the bullet can prove to be a link. So this is starting to escalate pretty quickly, and I'm curious to know what you all think about this. This is a really, 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 really interesting situation, to be completely honest with you. So, I mean, this was 27 years ago. My whole thought process on it is this. I feel like motives have changed. I feel like motives have changed in a really, really big way. And initially you had like the the Las Vegas, should I say, the LVPD, the Las Vegas Police Department against the FBI. One department wanted them to investigate, one of them didn't, and they were in. And now all of a sudden they're just like reviving it. Now, you remember a while ago, Tupac there was this stuff going around about some LGBTQ Tupac hoodie or whatever. Like the estate's been trying to shake up the piggy bank and make some money. I'm not sure if y'all remember that, but it was definitely something that was happening around about like a month ago. And they was like, oh, we making stuff that's, for the LGBTQ community. We putting Tupac on because he was in support of the LGBT community. Like, let that man rest in peace. If he didn't come out with, and not to say he wasn't in support, he clearly was. He was friends with Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah came out and said that they had, been to gay clubs before. So it's not no question. Nobody is sitting up here trying to say that Tupac hated the LGBT community. However, what y'all are doing by coming out with Tupac's face and an LGBTQ hoodie is extremely bizarre to me. Let him rest in peace. Y'all are the estate. Y'all are trying to make extra money. This is too much. But I do feel like these departments, there's his last name is Poole, but it's spelled Poole. What's his name? Jason, whatever. There was somebody who was extremely dedicated to the case and the murderers of both Biggie and Tupac because they felt like they were kind of like connected deaths. I feel like there's a different motive on the inside now. Like, why at first the FBI didn't want the Las Vegas Police Department to look into the deaths. Now, all of a sudden, it seems somebody got a bone to pick and they just moving this thing forward. We didn't heard one different piece of news every week about Tupac's death, and that was 3 fucking decades ago, 27 years ago. There's a difference. There's something going on. There's an ulterior motive on the inside going on. They either trying to distract niggas in general, just like period point blank, or something changed. There was some sort of agreement between the Las Vegas Police Department and the FBI, and I don't know. 3 weeks ago, the estate was trying to sell rainbow hoodies with Tupac face on it, and now all of a sudden, here we go with this. Somebody either changed positions, they passed, like if you were 50 and you had a grandparent and you had a child who was 20 years younger than you, you might bring your child. And if interests change within these different departments, then people have different motives. So somebody might have made somebody mad. They might have had an agreement. The agreement wasn't met. But it's 30 years later, and all of a sudden, y'all trying to bust the Tupac Shakur case wide open, and y'all not even talking about Biggie. Y'all priorities can change, and there's something going on in the back end. Something's changed between the FBI and the Las Vegas Police Department. Something's changed. There's a motive. There's different. It might be obviously like whenever this happened, 27 years ago. So whatever all those positions were, whether they were CEO, see what all of the positions are different. Out of all of the different musical chairs that has been played from then to now, naturally, there's a difference in motive there. And that's the reason why this, and because it's not, do y'all think that any of this is really going to put Tupac to rest? Is any of this 30-year-old dusty investigation really going to put Tupac to rest? It's not. This is a personal vendetta on the back end of some fucking white folks in high places, and that we will never see and we will never know. That's what's going on right now. Truth be told, anybody that's really been on the ground following the death of Biggie and Tupac, we already know who did it. So y'all digging up all this and doing all whatever, that's for y'all, and that's political politics. But for us, we already know who did it. Just saying. Okay, and what do you want? Okay, well, you need to move. Yeah, you gotta move though. You got your butt in these people's face. This is disgusting. Please. I'd rather keep myself. Right. Again, all things stated are alleged and according to reports. He to make some damage to people, especially with a new AI craze. True. That's true. All right. Let me see. So yeah, I do want to know y'all thoughts. Like I wore my little Tupac shirt today. I do pass the question off on to y'all. What do you think? What are your thoughts about Tupac? This new investigation that's then came up out of complete and absolute nowhere. What justice is it going to do? Him, his family, his estate. It's not changing a thing about a thing now. It might increase his Spotify spins or listens and people who are searching for, you know, some of his music, but what's the benefit for them? It's no way that they would just be doing that just to benefit themselves. Like the estate coming at the Las Vegas Police Department. And don't get me wrong, like Las Vegas is the only place where you can fake your death if an attempt has been made on your life 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 times. But do you think the government will put themselves through all of this and do all it just to benefit niggas and just to get Tupac more streams or to get people to buy more of a book that they're allegedly about to release? Absolutely not. There's something in it for them too. The question is, what the fuck is it? We would never know because they're not going to tell us. We'll just take we got more streams. Stop it. We really haven't gotten anything. But nonetheless, I hope that y'all have an amazing day. I like cats. Give the cat a break. Chill. But yeah, this is it's a really random time for them to just dig. I get tired of them not letting people rest in general anyway. I get tired of Aaliyah not being able to rest. Tupac not being. Everybody just want to just bring it up. With the difference with Aaliyah and Tupac is with Aaliyah, it's just rumors and Dame Dash and the fandoms and stuff like that. With Tupac, they're actually like using the law and breaking down doors and acting like now all of a sudden 3 decades later they care about who killed them, when they really didn't have that much concern and the wherewithal to really, you know, post the mugshots and follow this story back in 96, 30 years ago when it mattered. 30 years ago when it actually mattered. That's the thing. Just a whole hot mess. Nonetheless, we got into our Black history already. Be sure to tag me in all of your favorite trending topics on Instagram and on Twitter. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking the community tab. Thank you for subscribing to my backup channel, which is at TPJ Network. Don't forget to do something to decompress today. Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on all the neighborhoods that we stopped through today. Make sure to keep it sticky and real. Subscribe, thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. But be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't ever miss out on any of the things that are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. Drop one of them pancake emojis down below. And y'all stay beautiful, Black, and blessed until the next video. I'll see y'all then. Deuces.
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.